Hello and welcome to Legacy Curious. I'm your host, David Gravelle. Today, I'll be working with Scott MacDonald, the founder and CEO of MacDonald Financial Solutions, on a debt action plan for Murphy's Bar. This fictional bar has similar financials to many of the small businesses we help every day to eliminate their debt, provide protection to the owners, and establish a retirement fund. Here's the financial information we'll be using for this demonstration: key person coverage and infinite banking. The couple, Sam and Diane, are in their early to mid 40s, with monthly revenue of around $60,000. They have a line of credit with the bank in the amount of $75,000 and take a combined salary of $7,500 out of the business each month. Their business is steady and pay back more than the minimum each month on their outstanding debt. They have a loan of $74,300 that was used to buy equipment, and they owe a family member $51,150 that they borrowed to help buy the business. They are paying $4,250 per month in total debt payments. They currently don't have a retirement savings plan, but do own an IRA with Fidelity that Sam and Diane funded from their past employment. Sam has a term life policy with a death benefit of $250,000 that costs $75 per month, and Diane has a term policy with a death benefit of $100,000 that costs $50 per month. Their goal is to be debt-free sooner than the 11 years and 2 months it will take them by continuing to pay the same amount as they do now, to protect their business if Sam dies or is unable to work, and to establish a retirement fund. Now that we're familiar with Sam and Diane's situation, let's invite Scott MacDonald on to show us how we can help them achieve their goals. Hello, Scott, and welcome again to Legacy Curious. Today, I'd like to ask you to help me prepare a debt action plan for a small business. The two owners, Sam and Diane, have asked me to show them how key person coverage and infinite banking could protect their business, provide them with a retirement fund, and eliminate their debt in a shorter amount of time than they are currently paying it off. And do all of this without increasing their monthly spending. Now, I've met with them to learn about their goals, and they provided me with the information that we'll need about their finances. I've sent that over to you, and so today I'd just like to ask you, what you've come up with, and share with us how we can help them.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, David. So let me just make sure I get this straight. You have sent over, and I just want to make sure that the people who are listening to this ask, you have sent over their debt information. You have sent over a lot of their financial information, and basically what the expectation is that they don't spend anything different, but yet somehow they get out of debt faster, right? That almost seems like a magic potion, too good to be true kind of thing. Well, let me actually, you know what? Because I'm in such a good mood, I'm just kidding. I'm going to show you what we've done. So you sent those numbers over to me, and I'm going to share actually what this debt action plan looks like, because I think it's very, very critical to show the audience here. And David, just do me a favor, give me a thumbs up that you can see that. Okay. Perfect. All right. So with this debt action plan, basically what happened, and I'll just kind of review this with everyone. They had three different debts. They had a line of credit from the bank. They had equipment loan. And then they had also a startup loan through a family member.
Right.
And so this is it. We're not talking about a lot. In fact, for a business that does about $750,000 a year in actual revenues, we're actually not talking a lot of debt. We're talking about a couple $1,000s a month that they're making these payments toward it. But I want to share this with you here, is that with the plan that we've put together for them, we could get this small business out of debt in 4 years and 6 months, David, versus how they're currently paying it off today, 11 years and 2 months.
Yeah, incredible.
That is almost a third of the time faster. Now, this is probably what you're asking, or you're going to ask anyway. How? What's the secret sauce here with this? And I want to show you. First of all, this is the strategy. Okay, so we went through and identified inefficient payments. And what we mean by that, David, is that based on where they were paying their debts and what they were trying to do, like most good business owners or most responsible people, if we have a debt, it's very likely that we're overpaying on that. So, for example, if the payment was $500 a month, I'm going to, if I can, pay $1,000 a month, right? Because I want to get it off quicker. I want to get out of debt quicker. So those, believe it or not, are what we call inefficient payment strategies. So this is what we do. We actually divert the income, or the expenses that they're overpaying to the lenders, and we have them make minimum payments to all the debts. And then the overpayments, we take that and put it into the participating whole life infinite bank concept strategy. Okay. And I'll share with you what that means here in just a second. But then what happens is we start building up cash value in this policy. So instead of taking the overpayment and paying it to the bank for their line of credit, they're taking that overpayment and putting it into their infinite bank, their cash value insurance policy. And then once the cash value, by the way, we're talking about annual returns and dividends of 8, 12% ongoing for the last 100-something years. Once that builds up and compound interest starts to take effect, we basically, once there's enough cash in the policy, we take that out and pay off the debt. And then instead of paying any more to that bank or that lender, they continue to put that money into their bank. Because what do we find? I mean, this is what these folks really wanted, was a couple of things. Yeah, one, they wanted to get out of debt, but they also, key man policy, right, was very, very important to them.
Right.
And then what about a retirement strategy? And unfortunately, for most business owners, David, the retirement strategy is, it's all in this company. Hopefully I can sell it, at some point, right? And so we're able to add a lot here. So let's take a look at where the inefficient dollars, they had $1,983 per month that they were paying extra to the lenders. And we didn't need to do that. So currently, and this is just a very quick snapshot of what this would look like. There was a line of credit. They had $42,650. Can you see that? Okay, I think I'm going to blow this up just a little bit. Okay. So they had $42,650 of a balance. Their interest rate was 4.5%. You can see what their minimum monthly. And like I said, like good business owners, they were trying to be responsible and pay this off. So they were literally paying almost $2,000 a month more than they needed to. Now, take a look. Based on that, David, it would take them 11 years and 2 months of overpaying to be completely out of debt, versus what it was like with us. You take the minimum monthly payments and they continue to do that. We fund the overpayment. And now take a look here. It takes 2 years and 2 months to finally pay off the first debt.
Line of credit. Right?
Okay. But look what happens is we have enough cash. We have just paid this $31,000 off in 2 years, 2 months. And now I'm taking the $587 And instead of giving that to the bank on the line of credit, now I am putting this 587 back into my policy. Okay. So I've not increased any spending whatsoever.
So
When I do
as
that,
they eliminate their debt, you're still paying that same monthly amount, but now you're funding the policy with what you would have paid to the bank. Is that right?
exactly. Yes, sir. And then what happens is you notice that. So once that 587, they're going to keep because they were paying that to someone. Well, we're just going to now move it over to the policy as well. If you keep that up, then look what happens in 3 years and 8 months total. So in a year and 6 months after, you've now accumulated enough cash to pay off the family member of 26,000, and then the 500 they were paying them plus the 587 that they were paying to the bank. They also take this and now they put that into their policy. And then within another 10 months, so a total of 4.5 years, they have paid off $168,000. Look at this. The payoff amount, it was actually 73,301 because of the interest rate. And this is what we're redirecting in payments now, 2267. So instead of it taking them 11 years and 2 months to actually pay extra and get out, look at what happens when you can use a policy like this, tax-free, risk-free income with compound interest. Look how much faster. And here's the best part, David.
Not only
If
they're paying off their debt, but now they have this
right,
asset, right?
they have this asset. And so keep in mind, they just continue to pay this their bank and they continue to put money in there. So think about this. In 20 years, they have 1,024,000 asset. That's cash. That is liquid cash that they can access income tax free. If they kept doing it for 30 years, they have 1.8, 40 years, 2.7. David, that's just capturing the extra that they were paying to the financial lenders.
Right.
Now, look what we can do for this business. We can totally, now this has nothing to do with the profits. This has nothing to do with their operational income, expenses. This is doing one small thing different, how we're able to change the trajectory of what it is they're trying to do.
Right. With the same amount. Now they've eliminated their debt. They're getting the coverage as well, right? I don't want that to be missed. They're still protecting the key person here, which is Sam.
Mm.
And, again, if Sam gets sick or can't work or passes away, then the business gets that lump sum
That's exactly right.
policy amount as
That's
well.
exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep. So depending on where they are with it, and that's one of the benefits of this is so when you look at this, we're just talking about how much money you'll make and how you get out of debt. Oh, by the way, this started as there's a death benefit if something happens to Sam, where it goes up depending on the year. We're talking about over $1 million in addition as a death benefit. So this is one of those things when we look at how do we, and look, as a former business owner, I wish I had this available to me. Well, actually, I technically did. I wish I knew about this because boy, would it have changed my entire. I mean, everything I did as a business owner is try to get the books looking as good as possible so someone can come in, write me a check, and take over the business. And now I have just expanded and frankly diversified by doing the exact same thing as I'm doing right now.
Right. Right. Yeah. What a benefit. So what comes next for this couple, Sam and Diane? Um, you know, I'll go and present this to them.
Mm-hmm.
Answer questions that'll make sense or not, and then if they wanted to put this in motion, what would come next?
Yeah, absolutely. So all this is a participating whole life custom designed for them. And so no two policies are ever the same. Um, We just go through the underwriting process, and as we had talked about with them, they're in very good health, and no big issues like that. And so we're able to get them go through the underwriting process, and we can start within a couple of weeks. And once that's done, they can start out on this endeavor and start the clock going, how quickly they can get out of debt. The other thing, what we normally see, David, is once we start doing debt-free life plans with folks, they start seeing the power of putting this money in, and then we can start identifying, oh, is there other money that we can take out of our profits and reallocate there? If it grew that fast just based on an overpayment of $1,900, what could happen if we put 5,000 a month in the cost of maybe a full-time employee or something like that? And keep in mind, you putting this in, the more money you're putting in, the more it exponentially grows at the end. So a lot of things to consider for them, but very easily they say yes. It is a simple application process, and within a few weeks, they're funded and ready to go.
Okay. And so it sounds like this would be the start of an ongoing consultative approach to helping them not only continue to make these payments in the right way and redirect money, making sure they're on track, but also continually learning what's changed in their business as they grow and giving them more options and ideas on how they might continue to fund this policy to increase the return and the value of the policy, right? Once the policy is in place,
100%.
yeah. So the hard work would be done once the policy is in place, and then just each month we review where you're at and where you're going, and we can help them, again, increase the value of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Based on what their goals are, and that's the beautiful part about being a financial strategist, especially with small businesses, is there is a lot of opportunity that we can help folks with, and there's nothing life changing, there's nothing risky. It literally is as simple as just adding one more step.
Okay, and I guess that's the good news to our audience is that you're not doing this alone. This debt action plan just shows you the roadmap, but each month and each quarter, we're going to be available from MacDonald Financial Solutions to meet again and consult and to make sure that they're on track. If we need to make adjustments, we'll give advice on how to do that. Well, thank you again, Scott, for joining us today. I think the audience, got a lot of value out of this conversation. I'm going to have you back on in the future to talk more about some waterfall trusts and how to manage the success of your business wealth to pass it on generationally. So we'll just leave it there for today and thank our audience for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, man. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for watching, and I trust this video has shown you how working with MacDonald Financial Solutions might help you and your family business. Click on the Calendly link in the description to schedule time to meet and develop your very own debt action plan. As always, I'm your host, David Gravelle, and this is Legacy Curious.